Hello everyone, I'm Kalen North, and welcome back to Spirit Island. I'm just getting over a cold, so apologies if I sound a little funny today, or I'm coughing a bit during this video. But today we're going to be continuing the intermediate difficulty series. We've started with River, and we're going to be doing Board C today against Habsburg Livestock Colony 2. So we're going to have migratory herders, which we get lots of towns pulled into places, and then more rural than urban, where we get extra towns, and then they build double towns inland instead of cities. We also have the loss condition and escalation, as usual. And yeah, we're going to be playing with normal settings, Branch and Claw on, Jagged Earth on, Events on, and let's hop into it. Now, Board C is probably my favorite river board. I think some people prefer Board A, which is probably right that that's a better board, but I like this one a lot. And oh boy, that's going to be an interesting start, because they're going to double build in land 7 and then pulling it down from land 8. I wonder if we just let that loss condition and then deal with that later. Okay, so this is going to be interesting here. If this weren't Habsburg, and they were going to build a city in land 7, I would probably try and do something like a sacrifice or trade-off with the Han there, but that's not going to work here. So in order to deal with this, I think I'm gonna, let's see, it'll be 4 towns and an explorer. We could wash a bunch of them away. Or we could try and do something with our innate to potentially get all of them out. But that seems a little like overkill. We'll probably try and deal with land 3 by... I think land 3 will want to flash floods next turn to take out one of the towns and then let the Dahan trade with the rest. So, because we're not going to be able to get down there to use our powers unless we go through land 7, which I don't think we want to do. So let's try and do this. I hadn't really thought about what opening I wanted to use here, because I've been trying to use non-standard openings for this series, and so maybe that is what we should do here, is try and draft a power and see if we get like a defend or something that gives us some inspiration as to what we should do differently. Although that will lead to some strange stuff next turn if we do that, because our build pattern will be messed up, which is kind of the point. So let's do it. Let's gain a minor. We got Guardian Serpents and Roiling Bog and Snagging Thorn. Those are both kind of interesting, but not really great for us. Guardian Serpents would be nice if we could get a Sacred Site in land 3, which we actually could. So that might not be too crazy to take. Roiling Bog and Snagging Thorn I like a lot, but the Defend 2 is just not going to be enough. The Isolate could be kind of handy to try and stop things from getting pulled in. Desiccating Winds is not too interesting. Getting Badlands down might be nice, but I just am not a big fan of the power. Reaching Grasp has our elements, but +2 range I don't think is going to do that much for us this game. So let's take Guardian Serpents, and we'll grow down from bottom track into land 4, and then next turn we'll put a Sacred Site in land 3 and see how things go from there. I am going to River's Bounty and Wash Away turn 1. So we'll do that sort of usual opening. And we'll probably try and just make sure that this doesn't loss condition Blight. Oh, actually, with that... So jungle's explored. So now I'm thinking about shoving an explorer from this jungle in land 4 into land 7, and then washing away a bunch of towns into land 8. So we take a Blight, but it's not lost condition. I think that's reasonable. So let's do that, and then... Oh, never mind, we can't do that. We don't have range for Massive Flooding. Ha! Oh boy, this is going to be interesting. Okay, so Massive Flooding we will use to just stop the lost condition Blight in land 7. We'll take that town that was in land 8 and push it back in there. And then Wash Away... We could just wash away land 3 instead of doing the Guardian Serpents plan, but I like the Guardian Serpents plan, so let's do that. So let's wash away land 1, and we'll shove that Explorer into land... How about land 2? Keep that a little simpler. Grab 2 Dahan into land 4, get a third. And then this turn, now we get to decide if we want to do Guardian Serpents on its own, or... Well, we can't play all 3 cards, because we won't have enough energy. So we could just go top track and draft another power, actually, which might be kind of nice. That'll let us play any 2 cards in our hand, and then go from there. So, oh no, we need the sacred site. What am I saying? So let's go sacred site. Let's do top track and one more from bottom track, trying to get towards that 3-card plays and that reclaim 1. And then we'll play Guardian Serpents, and do I want to just play Boon of Vigor for more energy? I don't think Flash Floods is going to do anything really effective for us this turn because we can't reach land 1. So let's play Boon of Vigor instead. Just get some more energy to bank up for a major or something like that next turn. So we'll add a beast there and defend 4. Oh great, they explore with a town once per board instead of an explorer. That'll be interesting. New cash, beast provoked. We get another beast token, so that's kind of cool. And then Canny Defense will give us a little more defend in some places. So let's get the beast token in land 7, where things are going to be kind of messy. And then we can take out these towns. Now we're playing at a lower difficulty, so we can actually take out towns with just Dahan counterattacks there. And they explore in the sands, and we definitely want the town to go to the coastal one. That's for sure. Alright, and now we need to make a decision about whether we are going to go bottom track or whether we are going to reclaim. We could theoretically do something with the top track here, but I don't think I set myself up well to leverage that. I think we probably want... Well, Flash Floods would solve land 1. So maybe we should, in fact, draft a power and see what happens here. Let's gain a power card. I don't think we can easily afford a major yet, so I am going to gain another minor. Okay, Dark Entangled Woods is actually not terrible here, because we could use it to defend land 1. Here there'd be monsters. Isn't going to do too much. Oh, Dark Entangled Woods could defend land 4 too, and then we Flash Floods land 1. So that's actually probably what we want, unless we Mesmerize Tranquility. Let's see. Flesh Rot Fever gets us disease. I think Mesmerize Tranquility is actually better here, because instead of the fear, we get our Massive Flooding innate, which will let us do something about land 6 a little bit. So let's Mesmerize Tranquility, and let's go ahead and get our 3rd card play so we can play 3 cards next turn on our reclaim. Get another Sacred Site, Flash Floods and Mesmerize Tranquility. We Mez here, and then Flash Floods here. So the jungles are taken care of. Add a town to a coastal land adjacent to a coastal town. That's kind of annoying. I think that can just go safely into land 3, though. And then, let's see, we destroy some explorers among lands with beasts. That's fine. I think that one and that one. And then Coming of Age, we get a Dahan in... Oh, let's put a Dahan in land 6. That'll be nice. Alright, we got our first Fear card. And we're going to gather a town. I want to gather from land 8, I think. My thought there is that land 7's already a little concentrated, and I'd rather have lots of towns in a few lands than a few towns, than lots of towns across many lands. All right, coastal lands explore, so this sands is going to double ravage, which is kind of bad. And it is currently lost condition ravaging, so we might need to burn Massive Flooding somewhere to deal with that. What do we do here? Because we've got 1 defend power in Guardian Serpents. We've got Mesmerize Tranquility, which both of which require basically range 0. So those aren't going to help us very much with either of these sands. I think we can get this to non-loss condition via Flash Floods as well. So I think we actually Massive Flooding on land 6 here. Push a town into land 7, and then land 6 can blight, land 2 can potentially blight, but won't lost condition blight at least. We could just take the lost condition blight now, but I think that's going to be a problem because they are going to build another city there. So let's reclaim, let's gain a major now, see what we can get. Oh hey, sea monsters, that's a fun one. What else do we have here? Sea monsters, we could actually threshold sea monsters this turn. Wow, okay, that's probably what we do. Yeah, that's gonna be amazing. Smothering Infestation is interesting. but I don't think there's any jungles or wetlands that are so built up that that's a problem. Volcanic eruption is always funny, but I don't think we want to do that. Walls of Rock and Thorn, again, mountains and jungles, like land 7, if it was coming up again now, might be good to do that on. But let's go sea monsters. Let's go sea monsters. We'll forget... let's see, coastal lands are going, so we might use Guardian Serpents next turn for land 3. Let's forget Boon of Vigor here. So Sea Monsters, River's Bounty, and Mesmerized Tranquility actually threshold Sea Monsters here for us on our reclaim turn. So that's going to be funny. Mesmerized Tranquility. Is there anything that we can actually do with this that's going to be effective? We could isolate a land to try and stop a town gather, but I don't think there's a good target for that we have presence in anyway. So I guess let's just isolate land 3. So if mountains explore, it doesn't get horrendously bad. Map makers chart the wild. All right. So explore actions will add extra explorers. Prey on the heedless. Each beast does a damage. Coming of age, we get more Dahan. That's a little unfortunate there that we're not going to really be able to do anything with that town. Let's add a Dahan to land 6, I think, so it actually clears. And then our Fear card, towns deal -1 damage during Ravage. Okay, well that's not quite enough to stop the loss condition, so we will still get some cow damage. Pall upon the land, destroy a presence, and remove a town. Okay, well that's good, I think. We'll lose the presence in land 8. And then we can take out one of the towns from... Well, let's see. How much damage are we going to deal there? We're going to deal 4 damage for the first sea monsters. And then if we do the second sea monsters on that same land, we will do 7 damage. So 4 plus 7 is going to be enough. Is going to be 11 damage. We're looking at 12 health of stuff in there if we don't remove that town. That's fine because we can keep an explorer in there. So let's remove a town from land 7. All right, invaders explore in the jungles, get double explorers, and then they get an escalation, which we have 4 blight now, so they only get 1 town for the escalation, thankfully. And we want to throw that town in. Do we want to? We could throw it into land 3. Because we're gonna Guardian Serpents next turn, so and we don't have another place to. Well, we might want to grow into land 1 and Guardian Serpents there. So let's put the town in land 8, where it's kind of out of the way. All right. So let's see, sea monsters. Is there anything we want to do before we sea monsters? Because as I said, it was 11 damage, so that'll take out both cities, both towns, and 1 explorer. So I don't think there's anything we need to do before that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then sea monsters again, and deal 7 damage. All right, and that gets us to Terror 2 with 3 cards. So that's great. River's Bounty. Let's pull some Dahan back into land 5, I think. 1 from... Well, let's grab the 2 from land 6. And then Massive Flooding. We could push the town out of land 1. Is that worth it? I don't think it is, because we're just going to grow in there and try and defend it. So do we push an Explorer out of 4? I don't think that's particularly worth it either. Although that could potentially... This could potentially get us... So we'll put it into land 3, where it'll just hopefully die in the counterattack. And then land 4, if we get a beast event or something, might not build. So we'd only get 1 town instead of 2 towns. All right, so let's build a Sacred Site. I think... Oh, we could go to 4 card plays. Can we afford 4 cards? We'll have 4 energy and we take a 0-coster. Yeah, we can do that. We can afford 4 cards. So let's go and do 4 card plays. That'll be nice, because then we can theoretically max our innate next turn, I think. Or maybe not quite, because we forgot Boon of Vigor. it'll get us close at least. So we can hit level 2 and 8 this turn, and then go from there. So flash floods. Oh, invaders didn't heal damage last turn. We could take out one of the towns in land 7. I don't think that's good. That's better than just dealing with a bunch of stuff in land 1, though, because they are going to build there as well. So we definitely Guardian Serpents here. And then flash floods. Oh, I'm kind of torn now. Do we take out the town in land 1? I mean, if something goes wrong and they don't ravage, that would be kind of bad to have them build a city and then be ravaging immediately after. So let's still flash floods the town. All right, Dahan trade with their invaders. All right, so this is the kind of thing that could go wrong. Wonderful. We can ignore their interest, in which case Dahan don't do anything in ravages this turn. We can display Wrath and destroy Dahan and generate fear. Or we can pay and... Oh. Never mind, we ignore their interest because we can't afford to do anything else. Outbreak's Shift does nothing, so that's fine. All right, each player adds 2 strife in a land not matching a Ravage card. Probably strife both of the towns in land 7 is, I think, the thing to do here. Remove an explorer or town from a land matching a Ravage card. Okay, so we could take out probably land 2. Because... yeah. Remove an explorer and a town from a land with beast, or an explorer from a land adjacent to beast. I think that's where we want to hit land 4 and stop the build there, especially now that we've got strife on that town in land 7. So they ravage here and ravage there, nothing happens, they build a town there, and we gather. I mean, it's not going to make a difference which town we gather, because we do have damage from massive flooding, but it's 2 damage, so let's just gather the damaged town. All right, and they explore the mountains, and I guess that's a forced escalation in land 3. All right. So let's see. Jungles are going to ravage. Mountains are going to build. River's Bounty we have to get some more. We could River's Bounty Dahan into land 1 and then Guardian Serpents it again next turn. So that's probably good. Land 4 is fine. We want to deal with land 7 and land 3. So I think massive flooding, we probably hit land 3. Take out the town and push the explorers. We can push 1 into land 4 and 1 into land 2. That'll stop the build there. And then wash away, we can push the town into land 4 because it's strifed, and the explorer into land, I guess, 5 because we have presence in Dahan there. And then River's Bounty will grab some Dahan into land 1. So we need, let's see, they've got 5 health there, so just 1 Dahan should be sufficient to pull in because we get a 3rd from River's Bounty. And then let's reclaim, and we have, again, a good major already, so let's gain a minor here. If we do get something with sun and water, then that will let us max massive flooding. But we didn't get that, so that's fine. Sap the Strength of Multitudes is really interesting. Guardian Serpents, but cheaper in some ways. Bird's Cry Warning for some Dahan movement could be nice. Promises of Protection also for Dahan movement, but at 0 cost would be nice. Shadows of the Burning Forest could get us some fear. I don't think we're going to get to Terror 3. I think we're just going to try and finish off the towns this Ravage phase. So I think the safest route here is probably just to take Sap... Oh, wait, there's still a town in land 8. That's right. I was going to say we just need to clear out the jungles, but no, we've got that guy there too. Then in that case, let's Sap the Strength of Multitudes would also go with sea monsters again, which is kind of neat. Promises of Protection. I'm not sure on this one, because we need to get out to land 8 in order to actually deal with it at some point here. Although no, it'll get pulled into land 7, so that's fine. So maybe we Promises of Protection so that we can pull Dahan in there and deal with the town after it gets pulled in by the Habsburg ability. So yeah, let's try that. So then I want to play Guardian Serpents. Let's try and save sea monsters for next turn. So we want to save River's Bounty and Mesmerize Tranquility if we can. So I guess we Flash Floods. Flash Floods isn't that useful for us here, although it could make land 1 a little more event-proof. And we will get a Reclaim, so I guess we River's Bounty then as well, because the energy is nice, and this gets us our level 2 and 8. So, alright, so let's Flash Floods land 1, we'll take out the town, Guardian Serpents on ourselves and hit land 1. So then we are we on stage 3 yet? No, we're still at stage 2. So invested aristocracy, if no blight was added, we add a town to the highest numbered land with no invaders. That's actually kind of a pain, because that's going to go to land 7 and we're going to suddenly get a bunch of stuff there. Oh well. And then Coming of Age will be nice. Choose for me. Beasts deal damage all over the place. Add a Dahan. Let's put it in land 5, I guess. Each player adds Strife in a land with Beast, Disease, or Dahan. I guess we put that on the Explorer in land 5. Ugh, that's so annoying. Alright, and then Sands Explore, and we add another town. Let's put that town in land 3, I think, because we can just Mesmerize Tranquility there. Is that what we want to do? We might want to Mesmerize Tranquility in land 7 to reduce the 8 damage down to 4. Yeah, let's put the town in land 1 instead. We've got beasts and things there that can maybe help with it. Alright, so then... Or actually, wait, we have Wash Away. Give me a moment. Invaders explore in the sands. They take an escalation town. We have Wash Away and Massive Flooding. So that actually Massive Flooding can get everything out of land 7. And we can put it into land 4 or land 5 and then just set up for clearing it out later. If we're sea monsters, if we're using sea monsters, we could stick everything into land 5 and just deal with it that way. So yeah, let's put the town in land 3. Massive Flooding, deal 2 damage, push 3 towns into land 5. And then Wash Away, I think we want to handle the Explorer from land 6. So push that guy into, let's put them into land 1. And then River's Bounty, let's grab some more Dahan into land 5. Just because that one's going to be a bit of a mess, potentially. Alright. So now this turn, let's go ahead and grow from our top track, I think, to try and get more energy. Is that... Oh, we're not going to have enough energy for sea monsters. That's a problem. Well, what can we do then? We still get our Reclaim 1. We can still go to 3 energy. Let's make a Sacred Site in land 2... Or let's at least get a presence in land 2 and a presence in land 6. We don't need a Sacred Site necessarily. And then we can reclaim... so Mez will take care of 3. Promises of Protection will not do much, although we can get some Dahan into land 2 or land 6. And then Flash Floods would actually just stop the build in land 2, although we'd pull a town in. I think we just take River's Bounty to build up energy. So let's play those 3. Mesmerize Tranquility here. Promises of Protection here. Pull in 2 Dahan. Alright, pull together an adversity. Oh, good thing we didn't get this last turn. Ignore Strife. Explorer's Blunder. That'll kill some at least 1 Explorer. And then Careful Defense will not do much. Alright, we get some Explorers. Yep, there's the build, and then Sands and Mountains Explore. That's fine, we should be able to finish this off shortly here. So let's River's Bounty in land 6. Grab into Dahan. And Massive Flooding, let's actually push more Dahan or not more Dahan, more another town into land 6. So now if we reclaim and then defend both of those, we should just win on the Ravage. So let's reclaim, gain a minor. This is a fairly irrelevant decision. I guess we'll take Portents of Disaster, because I like that one, and we have nothing else we need to worry about with it. So we will play Guardian Serpents, we'll play Mesmerized Tranquility. I guess we could play Sea Monsters in case things go horribly wrong. And then we should play something with water so that the Sea Monsters thresholds. How about Wash Away? Just in case we need to throw a bunch of things into one land and then... actually, this isn't going to work because I didn't put a Sacred Site in land 6, so Guardian Serpents doesn't actually do what I thought it did. Whoops. That's on me. Okay. Sorry, I need to rethink this for a moment. So Mesmerized Tranquility will get this down to 2 damage. But we don't actually have... Let me go back and take a look at that draft, because I goofed this up. We could entrap the Forces of Corruption. That might actually work, because then we won't get the Cascade at least. Yeah, that'll probably do it. So, okay, so Mesmerized Tranquility in land 2. No, Mesmerized Tranquility in land 6. We'll Flash Floods in land 2. And then entrap the Forces of Corruption, and I will try and pay more attention to my Sacred Sites next time. And then we probably should get some more Dahan in there as well, just in case. So that'll be our play. So Mez here, Flash Floods here, entrap the Forces of Corruption. Let's grab the Blight from this mountain, and then Promises of Protection. We'll grab in these 2 Dahan from the jungle. All right, destroy the Unnatural. So invaders do +3 damage per land when ravaging in lands with presence. Great. I think that we're fine on that, though, because of Prey on the Unwary and possibly Massive Flooding. So let's have some beast damage. And then we can use Massive Flooding now, but I don't think we want to. Yeah, let's skip Massive Flooding. So they're going to deal 2 + 3 is 5 damage, so they'll kill 1 Dahan, and then the Dahan will wipe them out. So that'll be fine. Each player adds Strife in a land with at least 2 invaders. Okay, well, that's nice. And then they Ravage in the Sands, and they still kill a Dahan. Did they kill 2 Dahan? No, just 1. That was the Blight being added. Okay. All right, well, that worked out. That was a bit messier than I wanted it to be. But yeah, there's Habsburg 2. It's definitely towns going everywhere, and you can do kind of weird builds into it, but you're going to probably flip the Blight card. You're going to take more Blight. Yeah. Well, thank you for watching, and I'll hope to catch you next time. Have a good rest of your day.